The college search is stressful enough, but when you add a disability, you also add another layer of anxiety. So in today's video, I'm going to be giving you 3 very important factors that you should consider when searching for a college or university if you have a disability, along with some things that I did wrong and mistakes that I don't want you to repeat. This video is for students searching for colleges, as well as parents and guidance counselors who are helping them. So welcome to Smile for a Second. I'm going to make some tea, get cozy, and tell you what you need to know.
Kirsten's channel.
If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Kirsten and I'm blind, so I completely understand where you are. You're trying to find the best college with the best programs, but you also have a disability and you're pretty daunted by the prospect of moving away from home or trying out a completely new place and environment. So tip number 1 is to actually make sure that you factor your disability into the decision that you make. That might sound a little counterintuitive, especially if you're watching this video, but you have to hear me out. So when you have a disability and you're good at what you do, you got there because you did not allow your disability to influence the fact that you were gonna be great. And you never said, oh, well, I'm blind, so I can't do this. That's awesome, and I completely feel you. But there's a danger in that because sometimes it can go too far and your pride makes you not want to think about your disability at all when you're making decisions about your life. I get that. When I was in high school and in college, I would not use my cane when I went to classes because I wanted to look normal so people didn't think of me as the blind girl. You guys know how many times I fell? Like ran into trees and whatever. So don't do that. When you are looking for a college, you're looking for their academic programs, their grad school prep courses, the campus, the lifestyle, the social things, the influential professors that are there. There's a whole litany of things that you care about, right? But you need to add disability resources into that discussion. So there's a couple ways to do that. First, look at the website of the school. If they don't even have something on disability resources,
get out. I'm telling you.
Run like really far away. Because here's the thing. There are so many institutions in this country that have resources and are equipped to teach students with disabilities that you are not going to choose a school. I will not allow you to choose a school based on other factors if they don't even have a way to help you with your disability. Just don't do it. Second thing is pick up the phone and call them. Now, like before you apply or after you've applied and you're waiting for the decision or after you get in. My point is talk to them at any point in the process and say, if you were me, say, hey, I'm Kirsten, I'm blind, I'm really interested in your school, I love XYZ programs, and I'm wondering if I can talk to you about what you have for disability services. You can also say, hey, do you have any students that are also blind or visually impaired that would be willing to talk to me about their experience on your campus? Because admissions officers are only going to tell you so much, right? They're gonna try to sell you the school. They'll do the same thing with disabilities that they do with their academic programs. They're gonna talk them up, right? They're gonna make them look really, really good. So you wanna talk to somebody who has a realistic idea of what the campus is like and the college experience is like at that actual school. So talk to them. Many universities will be like, sure, I'll find someone and give them your number and you're off and running. I also highly recommend actually going to the campus if you can. If you're in a wheelchair, for example, but you get to the campus and realize that there are a ton of staircases everywhere, probably not the best place for you. Like you need to find somewhere that you're comfortable, somewhere that has a lot of wheelchair access, and it's as easy for you as it is for your peers. And that's what's really important. You want to have a level playing field. My university had a lot of stairs and hills. which isn't a big deal from like a fitness perspective, but it was hard, especially in the wintertime, because there were some icy patches all over the place, and I got hurt a lot. There was this one time I fell on a hill and hit the back of my head. I don't even know how I didn't get a concussion. I just kind of got up dazedly and went to class. Like, it was kind of nuts. But my point is, if I had done it right and I had considered what that campus might be like for me in the wintertime, I probably would have gone somewhere else, right? And that's something that you should definitely consider. The physical terrain, the access is a part of your process. Tip number 2, you also want to make sure that your school is close to public infrastructure. This is particularly important if you have a physical disability that prohibits you from driving. Okay, so I'm mainly talking to you at this point, but if you can't go somewhere, you are trapped on that campus, and that has social and professional consequences. Socially, if you're in a remote area, you are stuck. And if you want to leave, or maybe you just need to get away, or you're really stressed, or you want a job, whatever it is, you can't do that. You're stuck. So I went to a university in a village in Ohio. Yes, a village. And what that meant was, I don't even think they had a bus, okay? So my mom would drop me off at school, and that was it. I only maybe got out for the occasional Walmart excursion with a friend every now and then. So I did not fit in on that campus. I was the only blind person there. The student body was very small. Many of the students had never been beyond a 50-mile radius of that location. So I stood out. And so because I didn't fit in, because I was trapped, because I had no access to anything else, I was also miserable. And that made everything worse, because on top of everything else, I was angry. So I do have plans to do an entire video on the mental health aspects of my college experience so that you can learn from my mistakes. But just know it was not a fun time. Why? Because I didn't make sure that my college gave me access to other things external to the campus. Professionally, this is incredibly important too. So when you want to get a job nowadays, grades are not going to cut it in terms of making your application professionally competitive. You need experiences. So someone else is going to graduate summa cum laude from their college, just like you, but if they have internships in your field of study, they're going to get the job, like hands down. That's just a fact. So you need to make sure that, especially if you're someone who knows what you want to do. So when I went into school, I knew I wanted to be a lawyer. You should equip yourself with a university that gives you a chance to do some sort of internships or programs during the semester or over the summer, etc., so that you beef up your professional qualifications and make yourself the most appealing possible. Because I knew I wanted to go to law school, I should have probably gone to school in DC and gotten internships with Congress or something over the summer, but I did not. And I don't want you to make that same mistake. Which brings me to my final tip. Tip number 3 is probably going to be the most difficult in terms of its implementation. But please do not let someone else talk you into picking a school because of what they're afraid of will happen to you because of your disability. Parents and guidance counselors, I'm talking to you now as well. So here's the thing. When I was in high school, some very well-meaning guidance counselors talked me into going to the school that I ultimately chose, because they said, look, you need to go to a small school so that you don't get lost in the shuffle and the professors know you and you'll get the help that you need because you're blind. That was terrible advice. Like literally the opposite of what I needed to actually do. And here's the irony of it, guys. I was so determined to act like I didn't have a disability and pretend that my blindness was not ever going to influence my life, that the second a sighted person said a really scary thing, I was like, oh no, okay, yes, I'm gonna get lost, I'm nervous, I need to be recognized, I gotta figure out what to do, and I just went to that school. If I had planned like I'm trying to get you to do now, I wouldn't have had those worries. because I would have spoken with disability services. I would have gone to other campuses. I would have looked up on the website what that school could offer me. I would have thought about what type of public transit access I would have. And when a sighted person told me that I was gonna get lost in the shuffle, I would have been like, nah, that's not a thing. That's not gonna happen, right? But I didn't do that. And I really want you to remember that this is your life. And so, yes, when you have a disability, you have to never allow that disability from stopping you from whatever professional goal that you have. But if you don't consider it as a factor in what you're trying to do, you are going to hamstring yourself. And now, to any parents and counselors watching this video and trying to see how you can help, I'm going to be very direct with you. Your fears about what that student might experience because you're unfamiliar with something have no right in this student's life. You have to understand that this is their process, their search for opportunities, and their need to expand themselves. If they're making the decision to go to college, it's because they're trying to grow in the way that they've chosen. And you should not be a hindrance to that. So help them, work with them. If you have a fear, then go to the campus, talk on the phone, read things, do research to try to make sure that that fear isn't as terrible of a reality as you think. Because you want to be part of their progress and their opportunity. You do not want to be one of the elements that make up the biggest regret of their life. So that's it. On that note, thank you guys so much for watching. I realize in this video, I unpacked a lot of concepts, and much of what I touched on could actually be broken out into several videos on several topics. So feel free to leave a comment down below if there's a particular topic that you want me to expand on. But I'm sure you can tell that I'm really, really passionate about this topic because I don't want your choices to be influenced by fear. The biggest regret in my life is where I went to college. And it's not because the institution was bad at all. It's because my needs were not met. And I chose where to go based on fear of something that wasn't actually true. So don't do that. Don't make the mistakes that I made. Plan as much as you possibly can and start a conversation in the comments or head over to my Instagram and DM me so that we can talk privately. If there's anything that I can do to help you, I will, because conversation is the way to progress. And I really hope that you were able to take away from this video the most important thing, which is the decision that you make needs to support your professional goals and needs and not to advance any unfounded fears. Thank you guys so much for watching. As I said, leave a comment down below. But otherwise, I hope you remember to stop, take a deep breath, and smile for a second, because we don't smile enough in this world, and that has to change. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers. Finding a university and